Hey Bearassers, some of our content may be offensive or triggering. Your feelings don't affect our opinions on the show. You're offended? You can kiss our bare asses.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bare Ass Podcast. I got Joel and John here next to me.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy,
Hey
howdy.
ho, go.
How's it going?
How you guys been?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
It was a better week than last.
Was it?
It was.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a 4-day weekend.
4-day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend.
Yep. We are living it up.
The big drunk fest.
Yeah.
Liquor store parking lots are packed.
Yeah, I won't be in the liquor store parking lots.
Me either.
Yep.
I'm getting too old for
I'm
that.
high on life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. Woohoo!
Me too. Woohoo. Yep. Yeah, so
So, what's new?
just been spending all day working
Putting
on
up
this studio.
beautiful
Oh,
TV
yeah,
for
look at that.
everybody.
Do we got music for this or some kind of intro or... That's exactly what I was looking for.
Yep. Because it's completely unprofessional.
Yeah. We just winging it.
We're just
winging it.
regular folks.
Yeah.
Yep,
Doing regular folk things.
that's it.
Yeah, I set up an appointment for my first tattoo.
Really?
Yeah, so that ought to be fun.
What are you gonna get?
It's just my name and God's name in Hebrew. On the right arm.
Cool.
I'm just basically, it's the first one, and I'm going to get a couple other ones. Like my mom and maybe like a family tree kind of thing. And then,
A bucket list kind of thing.
yeah, I mean, I already know what I want. It's just, I'm going to test this chick out. It's like all chicks that work at this place. And so I'll look at her work and then go from there. Maybe I might keep using her. I don't know. We'll see.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, I know somebody who's got a tattoo recently.
Oh, yeah?
It's hard to see, but we can see if we can.
Whoa.
I just got a tattoo.
Whoa.
Guess what it was?
What?
A tree.
The tree?
A tree.
That's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I got a new friend.
Yeah.
A best friend.
Whoa.
Who?
Yep, and he's a new friend. I know a lot of trees, but this guy is a real tree. Let's hear it for Tree.
Yay.
Tree. True blue tree.
Howdy.
It's a tree.
Hey, tree.
That's a
What's
real
up?
tree.
I'm just a regular tree trying to make a living.
You know, Tree, you look a little nervous. I wonder why that is.
It's my first time on live camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
But tell him about your enemies you were telling me about.
You mean the tree axe murderer, lumberjacks?
Whoa. That doesn't make anybody nervous.
That's why I'm so short.
They already got at you and you barely got away?
They took the bottom half.
Wow.
That's a sad story,
Ouch.
Tree.
It really is. Anyways, that's all I got, guys. I'm nervous on camera.
Well, thanks for coming on, Tree. It's been great. We'll see you later.
See you later.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
Who
crazy.
knew Sam's Clutch had a tree for a buddy?
Wow.
I mean, he did talk a lot about trees.
Something tells me Sasquatch is going to bring around more friends.
He is. He's a pretty likable guy. You know?
He's a magnet for friendship.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Well, that's kind of crazy.
Yep.
Axe murders.
Axe murderers. Yeah.
Never thought of lumberjacks. I guess if I was a tree, that's about what it would be.
Yeah.
Oh.
Huh. Speaking of axe murderers.
Yeah, you know, I was reading an article and it was talking about like the average person has been around a serial killer more than 40 times in their life. So, you know, one of those times when you were sitting on the bus or taking a piss in the restroom, you know, and I mean, the beautiful part is he didn't pick you. You know what I mean? Isn't that beautiful?
That is crazy because they have an agenda. You know?
Yeah, they got a quota.
Yeah.
Quota.
Yeah.
Especially if they're serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what was that? Was it Howard Stern years ago? There was a serial killer guy they called in and was talking about how he's, I don't know what it was, 40, 50 people or something.
A guy called in.
Yeah.
A real serial killer.
A real
supposedly.
one. Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sounds like a good way to
I
get ratings.
wonder how many people out there have killed and gotten away with it multiple times.
Probably more.
Than you think.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you hear about all the unsolved murders.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense.
Well, there was a friend of mine was talking about somebody I went to school with and their ex or whatever during, I think it might have been COVID or just before COVID or maybe during when COVID was going on. He came out of the back room and sat down next to all the friends there and said, and I don't remember who the guy was, but he's like, Billy isn't going to make it. I think he's got a real bad headache. And he hammered the guy's head in with a hammer in the bathroom.
That's pretty brutal, man.
And that's a true story. And I actually know the people. I was like, whoa, what is going on with people?
Yeah.
Well, look how many years Dahmer got away with it.
Yeah.
And he was not hiding it. Kept human body parts in his apartment, just rotting away.
Well, they were like in the.
He made sweet love with some of them.
Didn't he have like a jar of dinks and stuff in, in his fridge?
He had a lot of messed up
He
stuff.
had a lot of it. He just had rotting meat. in
Like
his
a
apartment.
55-gallon tub.
Yeah, he had a
it.
fridge full of human meat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty horrifying.
And it would suck to be one of his victims, man.
And his neighbors would knock on his door and say, "Hey, your place smells awful. Like, it is horrible." And he'd be like, "Oh, I just got some bad hamburger in the fridge. I'm going to clean that out."
And that's it.
Human hamburger.
I apologize for that.
And then someone finally got away. And
Well, you got all the famous ones, like Ted Bundy. And I mean, I'm sure you've seen different shows where they show a lot of these guys are like, what's crazy is I've seen those like on the street things and they'll show you pictures of people. And most of the people, they pick the serial killer that that's a guy I'd chum around with. And you're like, man, are you a bad pick of like what people would be? Because it's so crazy. People just easily trust him. It's like a lunatic fringe thing. They think, oh, he smiles and he's kind. You know what I mean? Like that's all it takes.
you guys are coming on to my plan.
Oh.
Shit.
Calm down. Let's finish the show.
I don't know. I think
Then you
it's
can
time
make-
for me to unveil myself.
Then you can make dinner, all right?
Where's Yeah, I'll give you guys another year of friendship
All right.
before I got you.
Yeah, we're almost at, I think we're at 92.5% right now of friendship.
Yeah, once we hit 100%, I cut your dink off.
Wow.
Store it in my fridge.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's
it's messed up.
yeah.
Anyway, serial killers, huh?
yeah.
What do you think possesses people to become like that?
Well, I think there's a deficiency. I don't think you can create that. I think
You don't think they're a product of their environment?
I think these people have a gene missing. There's something. The wire is crossed because they don't have, like we all have it, empathy. Like even if you're a bad person, most people will not go all the way because it's like they don't want to.
They don't want to go to jail.
Well, it's more than that. Mm-hmm. It's more than that.
I mean, to sit there and carve somebody up with a smile on your face,
That's insane.
and you can see that the person is truly terrified and
Suffering.
and you just get off on that. You know,
There's something's got to be wrong with you. That's why when they say, "Oh, they're not insane," I'm like, "They're insane. They ate him.
yeah.
They're nuts."
And
Like, what are you talking about?
most of these people don't get death penalty. They are studied for the rest of their life, like lab rats and. You know, those people don't deserve to live anymore. They need to be,
Put down.
yeah, just gotten rid of, because we don't need any more breeding like that.
No, they should make a prison special,
Like an island.
just like a Alcatraz for serial killers with no guards, and then they just let them.
Well, the guards are on boats that are constantly circling.
Yeah, they're circling the island.
24/7
But
with,
inside,
with
they're-
50 cals.
Yeah, but inside the prison, they just have cameras. And
It's free reign.
They live stream it.
And they're free to do
And
whatever
they're
they want.
free to do whatever they
And
want.
it'd be like
man.
entertainment.
Yeah, entertainment. So they
It
can
would.
just. It would be.
That'd be a good revenge for the people that lost their family
Yes.
members. They could watch this and go, yeah,
Yes, get them.
yeah, skin them alive.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is that probably would go over not too far in the distant future.
It would in my book.
You don't.
things didn't
Oh
change.
man, you don't think their upbringing though has a little bit to do with it? I don't know.
I don't know, dude. I mean, think about it. Like, there's people. See, that's the thing is you can have. I mean, you can have people in the same family where like they both get raped, let's say, or graped. We should censor that.
Yeah.
If that, you know, SA'd, if they both got SA'd, well, one turns into a piece of crap and they hurt people and do whatever. And then the other one is the other way. And they were both raised in the same house or the same blood. So I think something's wrong with the other one, the one that doesn't have the capability of having empathy and sympathy and all those things.
Well, I think the majority of them are hardcore narcissists.
Psychopaths,
Yeah,
sociopaths.
well, I've been listening.
It's almost like you were looking right at
No,
me.
no,
Jeez.
not at all.
Isn't that the old Narcissus, the one that stared in the water till he died or something?
I don't know.
Is that weren't Narcissus or something?
Narcissist? Nah, or gaslighting. Same thing. But I don't know. I've been watching, come across those Chris Watts, you know. I'm sure you remember Chris Watts. Unalived his family, his wife and kids. Well, listening to his prison calls with his parents, it's disturbing. Like the mom is talking to him about the funeral and how the CD player kept skipping, and so it was Celeste and the other kid were giving him a sign. Just all kind. The mom's loony. She talks to him like she's her like he's her lover.
Wow.
It's like, well, now I can see why this Chris Watts guy is so fucked up. And instead of just leaving, he unalived his whole family. Like, what brings you to that point? Like, yeah, I get it. I mean, she filmed everything. Like, she was nuts. But she didn't deserve to die over it.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have just walked out the door. Like, I can't do this. I'm out.
Yeah.
Instead, he stuffed his daughters into an oil tank. Buried his wife. Like, I don't know how you get to that point, man. It's fudged up.
See, like I mean, I can understand if you take someone's life in self-defense. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But to do that, I don't understand.
Mind-boggling.
You know, I'll tell you something I experienced. I'll just do a short version of it. But back in 1989, my dad pulled me out of school and we went to Florida, went to Ocala, Florida, and got a job there at this racetrack, you know. Anyways, we didn't have any. We had like $2,900. We drove this old crappy Chevy van there. $2,900, so we had to get a shitty motel.
That was a lot of money in 89.
It was. And we rented this crappy motel for a little while, and you could do them like, I can't even remember, what was it, $15 a night or something like that. And they were just shitholes, and all it was is, you know, drug dealers and prostitutes out front, and it was busy all night with prostitution and shit like that, and they were just shitty rooms. But anyways, I kept seeing this lady out there doing her thing, and she also had a friend, I think, that she hung out with, another girl. And after a little while, my old man, he drank a lot of whiskey and stuff, and he was all into women, so he started flirting around with these girls, and I'm sure he was banging them. But anyways, So one time my dad was gone. He was at work, and I was at the hotel, and this girl that was renting a hotel room there for the 10, 15 bucks a night came over and knocked on my door. And I knew her because I seen her a couple times and just had short words with her, but she was much older than me. I was 16 years old. And she said, "Hey, can you come over and fix my TV? There's something wrong with it.
Ooh,
Can
this
you help
sounds
me
like
adjust
the
it?"
beginning of a porno.
And the sucker that I am, I'm like, all right, I can. So I go over there in her place, her apartment, her hotel room, walk in there, and right away I walk up to the TV and just turn it on, and it works. And I'm like, it works, you know? And she's like, "Why don't you come over and have a seat on the bed right here?"
Whoa.
And I'm
where's
like,
this going?
I'm like, oh, I don't know. I said, I know I'm 16, and you know, I was not ready for this. But anyways, I either stood or I might have sat on the other side of the bed for a second and talked to her, and blah blah blah. All of a sudden, this big huge guy, not this guy, but a big huge guy came, and there's those side windows on the hotel room door. He's beating on that thing, looking for his 20-minute pump, because she's a prostitute, obviously. And I am freaked out of my mind because this dude looked crazy. You know, we're in Florida and the hillbillies run thick there.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, I just wanted out of there, and she was telling him to go away, and it was starting to escalate, their back and forth conversation, and I'm just like freaking out. And all of a sudden, like an angel, my dad pushes this guy out of the way and bangs on the door and says, "Open this fucking beeping door." And she did, because it was locked and shit. And he's like, "Get out of here," and and anyways, a little bit more happened. We ended up giving this lady a ride out to a place, and anyways, she ended up having a gun on her, and my dad took the gun out of her purse because it was in between. Her purse was on the floor in between the van seats, and I was behind the seat, and I'm the one who's seen the gun, and I elbowed my dad around the door side and said, "She's got a gun in her purse." I could see the handle of it. So he just reaches down and grabs it, and he goes, "I'm going to keep this." And she started flipping out. She was okay after a couple minutes, but she was not happy. And he's like, "I'm just keeping the gun. No one's riding in here with my kid with the gun."
Right.
Anyways, we got out to this place, and all she wanted to do, we drove like 60, 70 miles, took her out there, and she paid for gas. And there was no one there. And this place was some kind of a farm for exotic animals, and a bunch of the animals were dead inside of the cages when we got there. And she said she was supposed to feed them and water them. And we were walking around, me and my old man, and there was skeletons almost with just the fur and shit and feathers. And anyways, she said she had to go in the house and take care of some business in there. And she wouldn't let us come in the house.
Whoa.
And she came out, I don't know, 20 minutes later, and boom, ba ba la. We left and took her back. We went back home. And anyways, I got home from Florida probably half a year later, came back to Minnesota maybe a year later. And after I got home, my mom calls me. I told her all about this woman. This story is way more detailed when I'm taking the time to tell. But anyway, she goes, "Turn on the TV to this channel." And I turned it on, like America's Most Wanted or whatever it was. And this girl was on there.
Whoa.
This prostitute.
What'd she do?
She murdered like 6 or 8 guys. She'd take men out, and she would go, "Yeah, the one who wrecked my life," and all this.
Her name was Aileen Wuornos, I think, or something.
Crazy.
The movie
Put it up.
Monster.
Oh, are you fucking serious?
I am fucking serious.
You
as hell.
hung out with her?
I hung out with her.
Whoa.
Look it up. Look where she came from, where she was at. 1989, Ocala, Florida is where she at. Hotel prostitute.
Oh, man.
Yes,
no
sir.
Way.
Oh, yes. And I got way more to tell, but I'm not gonna. But let's bring up a picture of her.
Oh, she looks, I don't know how she could attract any man.
Every time I see her, she was younger, man. She was younger, a little bit younger when I seen her, but she looked way rougher on the TV after she got busted, man.
Aileen Warner?
Wuornos.
Wuornos. Well, there, that's it right there.
That's Aileen.
Yeah, it's her.
That's her?
Fuck yeah, it's her. Right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, let's bring up a shot.
That's her right there. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, Florida State Prison.
Yep. Yeah. 1989. I left Florida in 1989 is when I left. At the end of it. Yep. Yeah, she was a crazy woman, and she drank straight Jack Daniels right out of the bottle, man. And she had this girl with her that she hung out with sometimes, maybe a couple of them.
Remember Christina Ricci? She played the part of her girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, she had a kid too?
Yeah.
7 victims.
Yep. She killed a police officer. Hey. Yep, she took him out. The guy was a police officer looking for some ass, and they went out in the woods, and she fucking shot him, I think, with her 22, maybe something else, but...
Wow.
Yeah, for real.
She is not attractive.
No, she isn't. And she was crazy. Her eyes were like demons, man. I mean, they were so intent. I don't think she ever slept. She would be out there at 4
Wasn't she
in
all
the morning.
methed out in that movie?
I don't know if she was methed out, but I'm sure she was doing drugs. I'm sure she was doing whatever. She was,
Yeah, she got them demon eyes, huh?
she does, yeah.
Like soulless
Yeah.
demon eyes, like just, I want what you have.
Yeah, you can definitely see when somebody doesn't have
They
a...
got that glassy, empty
You know what's even crazier?
stare.
Is I have an artifact from her.
Yeah, what's that? A child?
I have an artifact from her that my dad took from her and kept.
The gun?
Mm.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But anyways, rest assured I have an artifact from her.
Wow.
Yeah, something that she personally owned. That we just ended up having after my dad died. It was there in the apartment. I grabbed it.
Wow.
Yep. So yeah, anyways, whatever.
Crazy.
Just a regular story, you know.
Yeah, regular story.
Nobody has to believe it, but
Hung out in a hotel room with Aileen Wuornos.
that's right. Mm-hmm.
Man,
Yeah.
she could have just
She could have.
offed you right there.
Here's the thing. She didn't kill guys who had kids and families.
Why?
That.
She had a sliver of a conscience.
She had something like that, like, you know, I don't
Some
know.
sort of standard for herself, you know.
Because I think about that, she could have drugged my dad. Was a horny old guy. She could have drugged him. She could have drugged him anywhere. I mean, convinced him to go. Hey, let's go for a ride, and he'd be like, "Let's get some whiskeys, let's go for a ride." Here's the most fucked up part. The most fucked up part is I'm pretty sure my dad banged her.
Whoa.
Wowzer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he banged her.
Wow.
Wow.
You heard it in the other room?
I just know him.
You just know him?
I know him, and
he was a drunk, horny guy?
He was a drunk, horny guy, and I know that he
Wow.
would have banged her. So,
That's wild.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, it's just a regular thing, you know.
Wow. Just a regular guy banging serial killers.
So, I'm pretty sure that my stepmom,
Aileen Wuornos.
yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah, pretty crazy, huh?
That is pretty crazy. Huh?
Poor mom.
Poor mom. Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's
Wow.
all I know.
Is the rubber room gonna top that tonight?
I don't know. I mean,
Wow.
Wuornos is pretty up there.
Yeah. Whoa.
Time for the rubber room?
I think it's time.
Yeah. Rubber room. Rubber room. Rubber room.
What you got, boy? We got some typical, government BS.
Oh, there's none of that, is there?
Congresswoman
Ever. They would
Cori
never lie.
Bush, she's a Democrat, telling black people to fight the police.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's gonna end well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we just lost one of our guys.
Sometimes you gotta fuel.
Yeah, it's okay. He's back, ladies and
Back.
gentlemen. All right. And we're not even going to edit it out.
Nope.
Just a thirsty guy.
Yeah.
So
like, obviously them stoking, certain segment of the black population to like buck police, buck authority, what do you think that's going to do?
Start another Minneapolis riot? Like
It's the cops are going to end up shooting them. That's what it's going to do. I mean, come on, dude. Like, that's so stupid. And, so it's more fuel for them to divide. The racism, which we all know is BS. Even you being a Zennial or whatever, like your age group, there wasn't like, I mean, we never grew up with racism. I'm not saying that it didn't exist, but the people that were, they were quiet. It was like just their buddies. They never said it out in the open. And, I mean, I don't know. It just wasn't, it's not like how it's portrayed.
I swear it's worse now than when I was like a high schooler in the late 90s.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you experienced some of that
worse.
where it was still...
Everybody was cool with each other.
Yeah, nobody cared.
Everyone made fun of the goths. The goth kids were huge.
Well,
when I
yeah,
was in
cliques.
high school.
and the dirt bags. I was a dirt bag,
Yeah.
The dirtbag
Long,
group.
the long hair. With
The burnouts.
the burnouts. That's what it was. Yeah.
And then I guess there's like this 14-year-old girl. She went in front of a school board, and they were like messed with her speech the last time she was there. And she went there and handed out a bunch of constitutions to each one of them.
Wow.
And then they were trying to like burn up her time. And she's like, no, you're giving me all my time. And she stood up and everybody in the audience was backing her. And they basically, you could tell they were in panic mode. And this 14-year-old girl totally just lambasted them and basically said, you're all not going to be here the next time I speak.
Nice.
Because all the parents are behind her, These kids are like leading stuff,
The boomers are on their way out.
Yep. And some of the boomers are starting to like join on. You know what I mean? They're not all have dinosaur thinking. Some of them are, a little more progressive thinking. And I don't mean progressive like politics. See, they've tainted all the words. You can't even use words anymore because they've made them all.
Words have feelings.
And then, of course, our friends, the Weffers, the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab eats the bugs.
Yeah.
You will own nothing and be happy. Yeah.
But I sit in my soul.
That Dr. Evil looking MF.
Yeah.
One of his members, Nita Farahani, I think is how it's pronounced. She just admitted in a talk that they can plant false memories in your brain.
What?
So now you could give false witness in court, or you could, you know what I'm saying? Like, now people could like just plausible deniability for all kinds of shit between the fake AI stuff and this kind of stuff.
So how on earth would they do that?
She also said that they're going to probably during interrogations now, because they're figuring out how to do pain compliance through your brain, so they could just hit a button and your whatever they want you to feel, you feel.
Wow.
Even if it wasn't happening, you still feel the pain, like it's real.
How would they give you false memories, though?
The jab.
Well,
The jab.
you know what? Who knows? That could be part of it too.
Good.
All that nanotech and
Nanobots.
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then of course, like I said the other week, the viral stuff going. That's still rolling full steam ahead, and like now you can see like the establishment trying hijacking it, like trying to have like it's a money thing, like they're trying to get people, so it's like they're trying to get their attention with greed, or they'll throw in people that'll be like, this is going to be the Trump train, or this is the, like they're trying to bring in the division again.
Yeah.
And people are coming back, and they're like, it's not left, right, it's not blue or red. It's us versus them, and it's over. We're not buying into that anymore. So it's beautiful now, because like every movement in my lifetime that I've witnessed whether it was the Tea Party, the coffee movement, the Occupy Wall Street, any of those movements, the feds came in right away and took them over. And they were all grassroots. And the thing is, they were different segments of political whatever, but they all were talking about the same kinds of things. Reigning in business, reigning in government, reigning in banks. Yeah. And it's, it's like we're all the same, really. Like everybody's been squabbling against shit that doesn't even fucking matter. Mm-hmm. Like the big bust they had in St. Cloud, Minnesota, you know what they busted?
What?
Gummies. Because they were 1,000 times what they allow or whatever.
Like weed gummies?
Yes.
There's a allowance on that, like how high.
Well, they do. Yeah, it's
level?
like 5 or 10 whatever per
milligrams
square.
or something.
But here's the thing: there's been studies since the 60s and 70s. They took a rat. They took like a ton of marijuana. They concentrated it down. They gave it to the rat. The rat slept for about a week. And when the rat woke up, he was real hungry and thirsty. Guess what? The rat was still alive.
Yeah.
So like a ton worth of THC was put into a rat and he didn't die. So government, you're inept. You don't, even the things that matter, you can't do. So you're fired. And we're starting over new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like everything they touch turns to shit.
Yeah, the opposite of the Midas touch.
Yeah.
What do we need? 33 podcasters to make our own island, or is that what it is? Or
25.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, if anybody out there who's a billionaire who just is feeling philanthropic, you can give us a couple $100 million, and we'll start our own nation.
Island.
We'll start our own nation, and we'll show you how to do it.
That's right, and you can fly there anytime you want and have shrimp on the Barbie.
And podcast all day.
And podcasts all day.
Yep.
Bare-assed.
Bare-assed, that's right. Shine some sun where the sun don't shine.
Right.
Yeah, buddy.
So rubber room, what else?
I think the rubber room we're slamming that door shut on this cast.
Man.
All right.
Rubber room is closed.
Whoa.
What's next?
We do have another topic.
Yeah?
It's kind of along the theme of like BS.
Yeah?
Well, you know how Donnie Trump, he says the news is fake.
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of knew that. And now we really know it. The ones who didn't for sure do now. What about history? How fake is that shit? Because, history is his story. And stories can be BS,
Wow.
Well, the only history that is real was flat Earth.
1957.
That's right.
That's
Like
right.
56, wasn't it?
Britannica.
Look it up. Look it up.
80 degrees and then some other degrees, the dome over it. Yes,
That's right.
sir. And
Wow.
try to buy one of those encyclopedias on eBay or find one online.
Try
There
to buy
isn't
any books that are before
Yeah.
1950.
Probably not a lot of them left.
If you look at like all the, even medical books, like in the 1800s and stuff, they have parasite protocols and all these things. A lot of these ailments that people have, they're parasites. That's what they are.
I believe it.
Like women having urinary tract infections all the time, that's parasites. All they'd have to do is cloves, wormwood, and black walnuts, and there you go. Every 3 months. That's all you got to do.
Black walnuts, huh?
Of course, that's my opinion. We're not doctors. We're not.
Take it with a grain of salt.
I'm just saying, if our ancestors did it, it worked for them.
Well,
I mean, they did live to the ripe old age of 21.
That's a misnomer. That's not true. There's
I
so
got a
many
sliver.
lies.
I guess I'm dead.
There's so many lies. That's not true at all. The only thing that modern medicine did was change the birth death rate. In other words, most babies and moms made it through pregnancy.
yeah.
That's the only thing that they did. And that's why people will say, oh, people never made it past 30. That's not true at all. People lived even longer. It's just there wasn't as many born. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So when you got
Well,
a
they
bunch of
will-
kids dying young and, you know, a bunch of people living old, it brings your average down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they weren't as good as maintaining.
And again,
diseases back then.
statistics is such a lying thing that you can manipulate that so much. It's, you know, I mean, look at,
It's been manipulated.
yeah, Bill Gates. Before he did the COVID thing, he had a stack of books, and one of them was like How to Lie with Statistics.
Yeah, he
Right
said
in your
that's one of
face.
his favorite books.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I know, and so many people I know go off statistics, and I just want to twist their fucking necks because I'm just like, you
Well,
know,
especially if you don't do the work to
Yeah.
find out what they did and what the info comes from and how they. If you don't do that work, then yeah, it's garbage. Maybe some things are correct, but not everything.
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like the important history is probably. I'm sure there's some truth in all of it.
Slightly skewed.
Yeah, everything's skewed to favor something and the
Have you heard of
power.
Tartaria before?
No, what's that?
Well, that's supposed to be like they had advanced technology, and there was all this stuff before, like us. Like I don't know if you've ever heard of out of place archaeology. It's where they find spark plugs in stone,
Oh, yeah.
hammers in stone, silver
light
dishes.
bulbs.
They found it was like 300 and something feet deep or 600 feet deep or whatever in a coal mine, and they found a silver vessel with it was ornamental, and coal. You know, according to the bunk science, which that's what it is. That thing should be millions of years old.
Right.
How is that possible? That's not how, like it's just like, have you ever seen like a person's foot in a boot and it's like, petrified? So, and it's like 150 years old.
Yeah.
Why couldn't that be all kinds of things are only 150 years old? And they say, you know what I'm saying? Like you can see stalactites, like look at some old abandoned military place and you go underground in the pipes and it's the stalactites and it's only 80 years old. And they're trying to say, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I went to some caves in the Ozarks, and the stalactites. They said, "Oh, from it to come from the ceiling dripping, and then it builds up a stalactite on the bottom, and then they eventually meet." You know, and this one was busted from the earthquake that happened, but it was about, you know, there was about a 3-foot section of it, but it was gigantic up and down. And, you know, and they said, "Oh, it took,
800 billion
in years."
trillion
I'm like,
million
come
years.
on,
See,
man.
they need all that time to justify their BS science that isn't real.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
That's what it really is. And of course, anybody who's a science fiction lover or who thinks they understand science, they're going to flip. It's going to trigger them what we just said.
Yeah, I always like carbon dating. I'm like, I don't know why. I just feel like it's the biggest crock of shit.
Yeah, I know. I'm a
This is
carbon
8 trillion years
No,
old.
8 trillion.
Prehistoric dinosaur.
Well, just ask the curator at the museum. You know, when you go to the museum and the curator's walking around talking about bones or whatever.
Yeah.
Just ask him, say, how do you know the date of the bones? And then he'll be like, well, it's because of the type of rock it was found in, and that's how we can date. And then I'd be like, well, how do you know the date of the rock?
Right?
Well, it's the bones that are found in the rock. That's how, you know, it's like circular theory. It's like one thing jerks the other, and that's how it works.
One big circle jerkle.
One big circle jerk. I mean, most of the dinosaurs you see in the museum, the bone fragment they have is like 1.5 inches, and then they carve an entire Tyrannosaurus Rex out of the whole thing. Yep, there she is. It's like, how did you?
Yeah.
52 light years old.
Yeah, somebody showed like a hippopotamus like skull, you know?
Yeah.
And they were like, and then they did like a drawing like it was some dinosaur from back in the day, and it looked wicked. And then he's like, and then it's like, but it's a hippo. And then it showed the real. It's like, you know, this is what it's like. This is what they did. Whatever colors they chose. How do you know what colors there were?
Yeah.
Like, how do you don't know any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just want dinosaurs to try to disprove a higher being or a god.
And you know, like the what is it called? The Piltdown Man or something. And then, you know, the first couple men that they found, like in the late early 1800s, like some of the links or whatever, they've all been proven that they're fakes. Every one of them. That one in China that they found, the bird with feathers. This is when the feathers first started, and all that shit. They found that's fake. Of course, the science will not tell you that it's been debunked. Mm-hmm. They keep putting those books in the schools.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got to brainwash the next generation. Yeah.
It's
That's
insane.
What they're trying to do. It's I don't know. I feel like by the time one generation wakes up and figures it out, they all die off. So they got to keep brainwashing, cycle after cycle after cycle, because for some reason they think it'll work in the long run.
Well, you know what's crazy too is I think they realize that people are starting to catch on, so that's why they don't watch TV anymore, and they don't, like, even entertainment's starting to get cut off. Like, people are starting to be done with all that too. So now I see why the WEF, they want to implant memories, and like, because they're like, hey man, we're losing the handle. We need to recapture mental enslavement here. These people think they're free. Yeah. The hell.
Well, entertainment is getting so repetitive. They're just recycling everything at this point.
You know, I can't even watch anything that is like space related. Because I just don't believe in that bullshit. And I have seen a lot of stuff proving to me that things aren't what they are. But
I mean, I can't say exactly what it is. All I know is what they present is utter bullshit. Mm-hmm. And that's all I can say that with utter confidence. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you exactly what it is. Number one, they won't let me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's number one. If anybody's willing to fund it, us three will definitely go. And we'll go to Antarctica.
Yeah.
We'll film it. We'll get Starlink and we'll live stream the motherfucking shit.
Right from by
any rich person. Hey Elon. Yeah. Are you listening? Yeah. You want to fund it? We'll do it. Because you know what? That's the only way you can prove it.
Right.
And you can't go off of liars. And that's all they have been. It's proven. And if you don't know that for yourself, then you haven't taken the time to look into anything. Because common sense tells you, anybody knows, even like you say certain professions, say, you know, like jokes, even look at the jokes in, you know, going around, like the lawyer, the judge, and the politician. You have them on the top of the IDS building. You drop all three of them off the building. Who hits the ground first? Who fucking cares?
That's right.
Right? Everybody knows this shit. Yep. So it's like, come on, man. If that's in our normal jokes, like, you know, we all know.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Is it getting to be that time?
I think it is getting to be that time.
I think it's getting to be that time. You guys haven't talked about the tree once in the podcast.
We're not really into trees like you are, though, Sam Squatch.
I'm into trees really a lot, just so you know.
You really like wood?
I like wood. I grow wood. I backed up.
He's wrapping it up.
Ooh, I got it wood. Yeah, I got a tree. He's a little short at the knees, but he's a good guy, and he's got mushrooms to please. We're out, folks.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up like a candy bar.
See you later.